Roland sent me this new drum machine, and I'm about to get nasty with it. Oh yeah. Verselab. Ooh. Let's go ahead and move this MPC out the...
Whoa, wait a minute. Who is
what?
that?
Hey, calm down, calm down. It's the Verselab. She just got here. I just want to play with her, do a little review for a little bit, and everything will return back to normal. Just calm down.
Shit. You ain't shit. You sat there and you complained that you didn't have me, and now you got two of me.
I'm just trying something different, something strange, and I'll be back to you, okay?
You got something strange?
Hey, man.
I can have something strange.
Look, you talking a little too much. Hold on. I got something for you. It's always the good-looking ones that are the craziest. This is my review on the Roland MV-1 Verselab.
Traptendo.
Well. Who would have thought Roland would have reached out to me to do a review of their products? It seems like people like the harsh criticism that I give to their products because I weigh in with pros and cons and don't just make a manual of a review. But anyways, pettiness aside, this was aimed for the urban market. Okay, Tyler, I get it. We don't like the word urban. But yeah, so it's no surprise that they will reach out to me for that, but I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'm gonna weigh in with my pros and cons. I definitely wanna hear from you guys in the comment section on how you feel about this because it's quite obvious what they're doing here. So I'm not gonna do a whole entire manual like I was saying. I will have that in a separate video. I have a how to make your first beat video and many other videos like sampling and such like that. But I'll touch up on some of the features here. As you can see, the pads do light up and you have a 4x4 layout. Where did they get that from? But what separates them from the other guys is this 16-step sequencer right here, and I think a lot of people, especially like the Fruity Loops producers, will actually enjoy this right here just for creating their drum tracks, or that might be your steeds. Other things that I like about this layout is the simple fact that it's nice and clean. I really like how the interface is separated by the sequencer, drum tracks, the melodic tracks, and man, I just said melodics. But yeah, you can see that it's nice and clean. My only early con right now is that there is no undo button. So let's go and take a further deep dive on the I/O so we can see what it looks like on the back. So starting from the left of this unit, you have your DC in for your provided power supply, your power switch, your USB 2.0 Type B to Type A, and yes, you can do bus power, so that comes in handy if you have a battery pack because it doesn't include a lithium-ion battery. You have full-size MIDI in and out, which is great. You have a SD card slot, and then you have a Kensington lock, followed by your 1/4 inch line in and out, left and right. And the big surprise is definitely the XLR mic jack. Last but not least, you have your line out, left and right, which is also 1/4 inch. It is definitely worth mentioning that you have a 1/4 inch jack for your headphones, and then you have your 1/8 inch jack or 3.5 millimeter, and then little holes over there are representations of the built-in microphone. So the obvious elephant in the room is how small is it compared to the MPC ONE? As you can see, they are pretty small, similar in size. I believe that the Roland MV-1 Verselab is longer. So looking at the Verselab in this shot, you can see that it is a whole lot shorter, but a bit longer than the MPC ONE. So you can see that, and yeah. So let's talk about the workflow a little bit. So here we are, we have it turning on, and this is the Verselab in the lab. So I know y'all noticed this prefix MV-1, and if you are a fan of Roland products or just drum samplers altogether, you will remember the MV series back in the day, the 8800, 8000 and whatnot. And yeah, so it's pretty cool that they're using that prefix again. That would make a lot of people excited because this can do full tracks and you can sample too as well. Right now is load up the firmware. So what I want to do here is to pick out this part of the track so you can hear the potential of songs.
Lights out, they screaming last call, after party line at the back door.
And that is all done inside of the Verselab. They have a built-in microphone right in front of here, and that's one of the things that I was extremely excited about, as well as an XLR jack on the back. Mind you that this is a $700 MSRP machine here, so I just hit the load button so I can go and use this value button right here and click down on it and bring up a new project. So it's gonna load up a new project and we'll dive into the things that I like, pros and cons wise. One of my early gripes about this was the pads. Again, of course they work. And one of the things I had to get used to was hitting the system button and then setting up the pad curve to linear, and then I had the threshold to 15, and then you can see the screen here. The screen is nice and clear. It's not a big, huge screen like other devices, but yeah, when it comes to Roland devices, minimalistic stuff is probably the thing that you will be aiming for anyways. So yeah, you can just adjust the pad curve, the gain and all that stuff, the threshold, and then you can change the pad colors on the fly too as well. But yeah, it's a really simple setup. I mean, you could just record stuff in, you hit the shift button and sequence to get to the tempo, and it's already on the tempo that I like. So I can just go ahead and record something in, you hit record, you hit play. I'm on a kit right now. We'll talk more about this side right here. Let's lay out something real quick. And you can see that I just went gun-ho into just laying out something real quick. Now I selected the kit, which allows me to have the whole entire kit in here. So I'm gonna turn this up a little bit so we can get a little bit more volume. But you know, you get the great balance of sounds here. And obviously this being set up just like the TR-808, mind you, with a little bit of modern day vibes to it with the 4x4 layout. You can just go into different modes here. If I was going to kits over here, you can edit stuff in. So I had the hats and stuff like that. And you have your kick track. So you can piece things up and add more stuff to it. So maybe I want that in here. And I go on the snare. Want to take out a hi-hat, you can, yeah. So it's a really simple workflow that a lot of people will enjoy. There is a different part of the workflow that I want to show you though, and that is very king in this. And I know a lot of you guys that are MPC heads will wonder, yo, so the Verselab, does it have a note repeat feature? Yes, indeed, it has its own note repeat feature, and that is called style mode. So style mode, when on a drum track, which you have your 3 different drum tracks right here, separate, so that you can go and work in a certain manner if you are into that. And also your melodic track set up over here too as well. So you have your bass, and then your instrument 1, instrument 2, vocal, and so forth, and input, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, so you have all that separated so you understand like the concepts of building a track inside of a drum machine such as the Verselab. The thing that I was like, man, dang, does this not have scales? Yes, it does. So that's where you get familiar with the edit button. You'll see a whole bunch of buttons flash, And what you want to do is just explore like what you can do with your different edit options here. So I went into note mode here, and I saw now I can mess with over here with these parameter controls. I can change the actual scale and so forth. So I want it like at a F sharp right here for right now. I'm just going to use that and then go and then set the scale to maybe like minor, Dorian, or whatever. It's just something a little different than what it is. And once it's set, just hit exit. So let's talk about the 16-step functionality and what can it do. The beat that I made at the beginning of the video, you can hear that the hi-hats have some strange quirks. And you can see the 16 steps. I use 32 steps, but you can see that there is a ratchet in here. And you can hear it. So how would I do that? Well, the edit button is going to be your friend in many instances here. When you hit the edit button, if you hit this right over here, which normally controls octave, but measure size, you can go polyrhythm. So I can go all the way down to 1 here, and then I can go all the way up to like 16, 32. What is the max here? Whoa, 128 steps. So yeah, I can go and do polyrhythms and stuff. So if you're into polyrhythms, you can do that on the Verselab. But more importantly, let's go and do something. I'm gonna put it back on 32 and just hit edit and then hit a step. And it's gonna bring up these options over here where it says velocity. So I can control velocity. I can control this right here. I can offset it, sub steps, and so forth. I actually can use the value knob and bring down the note. So if I really want to bring something really crazy to it, you can do those trap hi-hats too as well. So yeah, you can do a whole bunch of stuff in terms of production with the 16 steps. It's just up to your imagination. One thing I guess I could complain about, but there is a way around it, is just you would have to lay out your track, and that is the section select. So when you select a section, you can copy and paste the section over and then delete certain parts of your section so you can live perform it. But unfortunately, the thing is, if you are just making the track or whatnot, you would have to get used to going into your mixer and muting things on the fly. So you got to have really fast hands. That's kind of a downer. And I wish it was a little more streamlined where you had a mute and solo button. And that would be really cool, or a way to mute and solo, or I might have overlooked it. So let's test out this built-in microphone right here. And when I tell you, you guys will be surprised, you will be surprised. I'm gonna bend down so you can see that I have a lavalier microphone attached to me, but I'm gonna turn it off and I'm gonna make sure that you guys get to see what I'm doing. I know you see my dang dog, and he loves me, but now I'm turning on the microphone and now you can hear it for what it is. The other thing that is pretty cool about this microphone, and you can hear that the quality is okay, it's above average, and yeah, but it is very sensitive, so you can't really touch this thing at all. So that is one thing I want to show you. But yeah, they have different effects too. Of course, if I turn on the vocal processor here, you'll be able to hear that. There's other features too as well. I'm going to go ahead and use shift and press the on button, which will allow me to go to the different effects like double track, and that's double track right there. Hip hop, pop, pop 2, radio, male echo, female, okay, high harmony, low harmony, high low, lower, so robotic, and yeah, you can get a lot of great use out of this. There are initial patches too as well that you will quite enjoy about this machine, and that's the thing I really like about this the most. And then I can go in and edit and choose different options too as well. I can go into edit here and go into multi effects, and I can turn on different things. Like you have different options that you have where you can mess with different sounds, and you can just change destinations and reverse, switch, and so forth. And let me turn that off so you can stop hearing me. But this is the mic quality, and it's pretty damn decent. Yeah. So the elephant in the room, can you sample? And the answer to that is yes, you can. And let me show you. You can sample by going into input here and choosing whatever type of source you want. So I can go from either choosing the line in right here, which is connected to my turntable, or I can choose the external, or I can choose the internal microphone. But obviously I'm gonna choose to use my turntable that is over here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. However, to actually activate sampling, you would have to go shift and record. And now you can see that my voice is coming through here. Let's go ahead and sample this record. If I wanted to sample this groove right here, I would hit this value knob. And now I have a sample. So, tell me how you feel about this review. I definitely want to weigh in with my pros and cons and my hot takes and give a summary about this. So, a lot of my pros are very positive, obviously, in their pros. I mean, what the heck? But yeah, the pads, they feel okay-ish. I think that might be the weakest part of the machine itself, but you can adjust it through the utility screen, and that's really good. I really like the layout in itself. It's only 2 pounds, it's very portable. A con is it doesn't have a lithium-ion battery. Another con is that the real-time stretch on this isn't that great, and I know that's a thing that people like to throw at me and throw at other people that sample, and I don't know, it's just a thing that people are spoiled with these days, and I can understand that, to be honest. Though it can sample, the Verselab sampling experience isn't as fleshed out as other drum samplers, but I will show you how to do that in further tutorials down the line, so don't worry about that. And then there is the 8-track limitation. Now, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'll only use 8 tracks on every one of my beats, and it's not as bad as it might seem, but it is a thing I want to mention just in case you are interested in purchasing it or anything like that. I want you guys to know the scoop for real. But the biggest pro is that this is a one-stop shop. Like, you can record your vocals on here, you can make your beats on here. You have the great prestige effects that Roland is known for, from the SP404 and the 707 and the 101, and the great sound engine too. That makes up for a very good drum sampler, sequencer, synthesizer. So it gives it a lot of versatility outside of its many different features that keeps you in the box. Also, it is compatible with Zen Beats, and you can plug it up to your computer via USB and just run it through bus power. However, if you do it just by bus power, you lose phantom power. So that's understandable. So if you have a battery pack or something like that and you plan on making it portable that way via USB, is possible, but yeah, you lose that feature there. But the greatest pro is definitely the XLR and the built-in microphone. Man, I have been screaming about features like that on drum machines for forever. And the only other one is like that is the OP1. And this doesn't cost nowhere near as much as the OP1 and does a whole lot more. Dead ass serious. So do I give this the stamp of approval? Well, Roland, I'm gonna give you 80%, but yeah, it was really good. A little bit of trolling.
Trap Tendo.